Leader of the third party.
Thank you. So I'll start with one specific example, and the Minister speaks of work, and the only specific was in there was sharing information with Indigenous nations. The Métis Nation has been working on trying to get a memorandum of understanding agreement with Ministry of Children and Families so that the oversight and care for Métis children would be moved over to the Métis Nation. Can the Minister give an update on where Ministry is at in terms of timeline for completion of that MOU? And in the meantime, does the Ministry have a plan to pay for the appropriate service level for Métis children being provided by Métis Nation at this time?
Minister.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you to the member. So just a couple of other specifics as well related to supporting Indigenous children and youth staying with their families and receiving services. We did introduce the extended family payment that I mentioned earlier in my opening remarks as well. And what that did was it got rid of what previously would have possibly been an inequality between having children in the care system compared to being cared for in extended family. So increased those options. And also, I mentioned in my earlier remarks as well that we have more funding in the budget this year for out-of-care options as well. So that's supporting Indigenous children and youth staying connected to family and community and culture. In relation to Métis, in June 2018, Métis Nation British Columbia, MNBC and the Ministry signed a joint commitment document, and that commits the parties to collaboratively work towards MNBC authority over child welfare for Métis children and families in BC. So that's probably the document, the MOU, that the member was asking about. And even since the signing of that document, there have been amendments to the provincial legislation, the Child, Family and Community Service Act, and also there's been the enactment of the Federal Act respecting First Nations, Inuit and Métis children and youth and families, along with, of course, the Provincial Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples Act as well. So all of these signal and support continuing to work very closely with MNBC. We have two tables where we're actively involved in talking about all of these relevant items. So there's a Métis working table, and there's also a Métis practice table as well. So staff has been working really hard in partnership with MNBC. We also do have Métis delegated Aboriginal agencies that are fully funded as well. And indeed in 2018-19, 2019-20, we also provided funding to MNBC to flow through to agencies.
Leader of the third party.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the Minister for that. One of the concerns that the Métis Nation has raised is that non-Indigenous Ministry Children and Family Services developed service for children and youth with special needs, youth justice, complex needs supports, family planning conferences, and they're getting paid $40 an hour to run these. Whereas the Métis Nation has either not been given the opportunity to develop these services or are funded at 50% of what the non-Indigenous partners are funded at. Can the Minister speak specifically to funding for Métis Nation in order for them, as she points out, to gain the authority over their children?
Minister.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you to the member. So the information that you provided just then is new to us, and it's new to Ministry staff. Ministry staff would be more than happy to talk to MNBC about the range of services that they would like to see provided to their community members, would be happy to continue having those discussions. And there are active tables that are already in place for those discussions to be had, but we will take that back and we'll have a look at that as well. Thank you.